PESHAT is a long-term project funded by the German Research Foundation and located at Hamburg University. The name is an acronym for Philosophic and Scientific Hebrew Terminology and is also a Hebrew word meaning the simple and literal sense of a word or phrase. PESHAT examines the creation and development of philosophic and scientific terminology of pre-modern Hebrew, which stretches from the 9th to the 16th century. The project was initiated as a 21st century continuation of Jacob Klatskin's efforts 90 years ago, with his now classic Thesaurus Philosophicus Linguae Hebraicae et Rhetoris et Recensioris, published in Berlin in 4 volumes, together with a supplement between 1926 and 1934. But in many respects, the new project goes beyond Klatskin. Hebrew philosophic and scientific literature emerged as a result of a cultural transfer. Texts were translated into Hebrew from Arabic or Latin, and from Hebrew into Latin. Hebrew terminology resulted from extensive exchanges between multiple traditions and prior Hebrew writings. PESHAT reflects this history and draws out the ways in which Hebrew was shaped by a combination of factors and personalities, as well as the burgeoning tradition of philosophy and Jewish thought. The central element of the PESHAT project is the PESHAT database, which has been especially developed for the complex needs of the project. It is both an IT-based working platform for the project staff and a research tool for users interested in the history of pre-modern philosophy and science in Jewish and surrounding Muslim and Christian cultures. Accessible online and open access, PESHAT currently consists of some 5,000 entries of Hebrew terms or lemmata used in Jewish philosophical and scientific writings, and presents explanations of these terms, brief definitions, basic grammatical information, and equivalent terms in other languages, ancient and modern. Moreover, the PESHAT database will also be a thesaurus, providing the user not only with Hebrew terms and their definitions and equivalents, but also with quotations from primary sources. The quotations document how a specific Hebrew term was used, shaped, and interpreted by medieval translators and authors. Definitions and explanations given thus reflect the historical usage of that term as documented in the source texts that have come down to us. Here's an example. Maimonides' Guide of the Perplexed was originally written in Judeo-Arabic. It was promptly translated into Hebrew twice, by Samuel ibn Tibbon and by Judah al-Kharizi. Al-Kharizi's translation later served as a basis for the Latin translation, which was to inform medieval Latin scholasticism. Consider the lemma ish. The term is used to designate an individual as belonging to a species, as we can find it in the Klatskin. Judah al-Kharizi coined this aspect and meaning in his Hebrew translation of Moses Maimonides' philosophical magnum opus, The Guide of the Perplexed. For the history and underlying philosophical concepts of this term, it is important to see that the Hebrew term reflects the Judeo-Arabic shachs, and that it was later rendered into Latin as homo in the Dux Perplexarum. In some cases, Hebrew philosophical and scientific texts rely on Arabic sources, many of which derive from Greek originals. Frequently, these indirect translations had an afterlife in medieval European philosophy and science. Many works from the Aristotelian and Euclidean corpuses represent such cases. The PESHAT project aims to document these processes of knowledge transfer and make them accessible via its database to an interested audience. During the first of 4 3-year phases of the PESHAT project, some of the most important classical philosophical works of Jewish philosophy, such as the Guide of the Perplexed by Moses Maimonides, the Kuzari by Yehuda Halevi, and the Duties of the Heart by Bahia ibn Pakuda, were examined with respect to their philosophic and scientific terminology, in both their Arabic original and their Hebrew translations. These translations were produced by the Provençal dynasty of Yehuda, Samuel, and Moses ibn Tibbon. The data was inputted into the database and is accessible online and free of charge. During the following years, the data will be continuously expanded through the examination of philosophical texts covering a period reaching from Sajega ans Emunat Vedeat to Avajes Fornos Orj Amim. In the future, further technical development of the database will make it possible for scholars to save their search results and to export limited portions of data. The following videos present aspects of the database's internal structure from the perspective of an external user and also of a PESHAT project staff member.